Hey everyone, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we will be discussing beauty standards. We'll talk about what beauty standards are, where they come from, the effects of the standards, my thoughts, and much more. But before we get started, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, please leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on today's video, as well as other topics you would want to see in the future. Now, let's get started. Before we get into it, I just wanted to thank you all for 100 plus subscribers. At the time I'm recording this, I have 125 subscribers and I'm so happy you are here. I hope you're enjoying the content and feel free to interact with me in the comments or tweet me at abridgedash on Twitter. And all the other stuff I said earlier. Now, let's actually get started. So I've been meaning to make a video about beauty standards for a while, and I think it's now a good time to dive in. This video is going to be more of a discussion regarding the topic as a whole, as well as be more based on Western ideals. So, now that we're here, let's start by defining what we're talking about. Like pretty privilege, I am going to combine the meanings of beauty and standard to get some working definition of the phrase. Beauty, as defined by Merriam-Webster, states that it is the quality or aggregate of qualities in a person or thing that gives pleasure to the senses or pleasurably exalts the mind or spirit. A standard is defined as something established by authority, custom, or general consent as a model or example. Therefore, our definition of beauty standard is an established quality or qualities in a person or thing that gives pleasure to the senses or pleasantly exalts the mind or spirit. When we think of beauty standards, we might pose questions like, where do they come from? And do I fit this standard of beauty? So let's look into that. When discussing where beauty standards come from, there are many answers. In one article I read by ABC, depending on who you asked, you got a different answer. Dr. Brandon Ziege, an evolutionary behavioral geneticist, said that standards come from an evolutionary advantage. I spoke about this briefly in my Pretty Privilege video. Basically, this is to say that we find certain people attractive because of genetics. We relate physical attractiveness to good genes, and by choosing an attractive partner, we hope to get healthy children. While possible, Dr. Hannah McCain, a gender studies lecturer, says otherwise. She thinks that we should look to the past, as it has influenced our current beauty ideals. She recounts old celebrity product endorsements and how they sold them to the masses, thus establishing the standard of beauty. She refutes the idea of beauty being merely boiled down to genetics. To say that beauty is biological is so dangerous because that exactly plays into those deep, racialized, imperialist arguments about who is better and why, and who should be dominated and who should be in charge, and who is inferior and who is superior, she says. Building off this, another person said that the beauty standards come from representation. Journalist and filmmaker Scintilla Chinepe talks about how the media plays a part in this. The more you see a narrative being pushed, the more you affirm that it's the standard. For women of color, the luxury of representation isn't always there, which can be discouraging. If you have the dominant narrative telling you that what you look like isn't considered beautiful because we're not really celebrating it, it can make you feel excluded, she says. The last person credited art, as it depicted the ideals of the time they were created in. Art historian Dr. Adelina Modesti discussed how beauty had different meanings based on what it represented. In one depiction, a curvy statue from 28,000 BC illustrated the beauty of a woman and her ability to bear children. Another was a painting of a woman with a high forehead. This was to show her elevated status. And the concept continues. With all these different possible causes of beauty standards, it is probably best to also look at the effects. With beauty comes pain. As beauty standards have changed over time, so have we. And because of this change, there have been quite a few after effects. One example would be our search for validation in likes. We put value into a number and can worry about underperforming. We even are concerned about the amount of likes other people get. We start to compare ourselves to their feelings about others. Before long, we may nitpick at the person, scrutinizing them for their imperfections, projecting our own insecurities onto them. While these and other negative effects have come from beauty standards, there are positives that have come to combat them. Many movements have been made to expand the concept of beauty. For example, there was the Black is Beautiful movement in the 1960s and 70s, which affirmed the beauty of blackness. there was also the indigenismo movement in Mexico. Frida Kahlo, much like other leaders of the movement, represented a rejection of the white beauty standard. Other more recent movements have been the body positive movement and the fat acceptance movement. So what can we do about beauty standards? How do we finally become content with ourselves? Do we stop doing our beauty routines, as speculated by Leah Donnella of NPR? Or even go as far as reject beauty as a measure of worth? To be quite honest, I don't know. Beauty standards are hard to overcome because they put us in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if I would be insecure had someone or society hadn't told me that there was something to be insecure about. But on the other side of the coin, I don't feel as though I should be insecure about things that are natural and what make me, me. The beauty standards of today are evolving and are trying to be more inclusive, but it still has a long way to go. Therefore, it's up to each of us to find our own personal standard of beauty. I know that I can live up to the standard of beauty, and not many others can, and that's okay. I don't know what any of you watching this video look like, and this is gonna sound cheesy, but I can imagine that you're all beautiful people. And even if not to yourself, for whatever reason, to someone, something about you is beautiful. The way you look, the way you talk, the way you act, your thoughts, they're all beautiful. So yeah, we might not fit the current beauty standards, but it doesn't negate the fact that you are already beautiful as you are. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!